Hello YouTube, my name's Nero, and today we have some Call of Duty Advanced Warfare in this week's episode of Dear Nero, which is the weekly series here on my channel where subscribers send me in fan mail and or fan questions, and I do my best to go ahead and answer them. I want to start this off by saying I have not slept yet. At the time of this video going up, right, so it's about 10:30 in the morning as I record this. I have not yet slept because I'm awful that way and just never go to sleep ever. And my idea was, wow, I've stayed up really late. I'm starting to get tired, but I gotta do Dear Nero. I want to record Dear Nero. I do this every Wednesday. I've done it for hundreds of episodes now. I think this is episode 120, if I remember that correctly. And I want to make sure I do it. It goes up on Wednesdays. I want to do it on Wednesday. And I know if I go to sleep now, then I'm just going to end up sleeping until 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and then it's going to be, Dear Nero's a longer video. It takes a while to render out, it takes a while to upload, especially upload and process. So if I want to get this done, we got to do it now. And of all things, just the way my universe works, there's freaking construction outside. I don't know if I'm going to be able to edit that out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to kind of isolate that background noise and remove it via audio editing, which sounds fancy, but really all I do is just pop it in Audacity and remove the background noise. But I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to actually get rid of the background noise. They're cutting down trees or something outside. I don't know. I looked. There's a couple trucks and they're cutting down limbs and stuff. Maybe it's pretty popular even in small towns. They go in there and they basically cut down the limbs of trees that are maybe in the way of telephone wires and stuff like that, or power lines and things like that. So they're doing that, apparently. Of all freaking times, of all days, they decided to do it now. And yeah, that's how my life works. But let's hop in here with Dear Nero. Once again, the weekly series here on my channel. Subscribers sent me in fan mail and or fan questions. You guys know the drill. It's Dear Nero. Let's hop into the questions. First question, he's gonna write, Dear Nero, before each year, do you set goals for each month, like 300,000 subscribers in January? From Top Shelf from Philadelphia. Well, Mr. Top Shelf, I gotta say, it's almost hypocritical in a way. I want to tell everybody here that setting goals is a good thing. It's good to set goals. If you set a goal, then you take small steps towards meeting that goal, then you'll eventually get there. And setting goals is actually very good for most things in life. But at the exact same time, I don't set any goals on my YouTube channel, which is, I don't know. I never thought to set any goals on my channel. That and setting goals for a YouTube channel is something that's not really something that's in my control. I can set a goal to post 30 or more videos a month, which I usually do that. On average, you get between 30 and 40 videos here on NerosCinema every single month. And I can set that goal, and that's a goal that is completely within my grasp, and I can make sure to do that. Whereas a goal of hitting 300,000 subscribers by January, which means I would need to get, about 20,000 subs I'll probably end up getting 20,000 subs this month, maybe. I don't know. I get between 10 and 20 usually every single month. So it's possible that'll happen, but to set the goal for it, I don't think that's a good goal to have because I can't control that. I can't control whether or not people watch my videos. I can't control whether or not people decide they like my videos enough to subscribe. So goals like that are really kind of out of my control. I don't really go for that kind of thing. Now, there's other goals, I want to make sure I do Dear Nero every single week. That's something I set that goal. I think I missed maybe 2 or 3 Dear Neros throughout its entire lifespan. 1 week you just didn't do it or couldn't do it or something happened, But I have a goal every single week to post Dear Nero. I have a goal every week to do Chem Strike Saturday back during Call of Duty Ghosts. I have a goal every week to do at least 2 episodes of DNA Saturday now that Advanced Warfare is out. Those are goals that are actually obtainable. Those are goals that are actually within my control. So I like goals like that, but goals like subscriber goals or view count goals, I really can't control those. So, yeah. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, YouTube recently added a feature that allows you to upload in 60 frames per second. Now, whenever I watch a video in 60 FPS, it lags it up and looks like a slideshow. And this wasn't a one-time thing. It's been like this for a few weeks. So whenever a video has HD in 60 frames per second, it's super annoying because I now have to watch in 480p. What do you think causes this? And please have an option for an HD without 60 frames per second from now on. Love your videos. Zach from Georgia. So Zach, what's actually happening there is your internet just can't handle streaming 720p 60 frames per second video. This is something that's a lot more common on live streams. Sometimes when you try and watch people on Twitch and you try to go to the source, you want to get the source resolution, sometimes it lags out your computer and stuff because your computer, certain people's computers, especially if you're on a laptop or something like that, you just can't handle watching something of that high, that high of a resolution, the 60 frames per second and stuff like that. So your only real option is if the only HD format available is 60 frames per second, then you're just gonna have to need to watch in 480p, which is kind of sad. Here's the idea. Like you say, let's go ahead and make it so I can give you an option. There is no option. That is something YouTube itself needs to actually implement, and that would be pretty great if they did implement it. But as of right now, if the video itself is uploaded in 60 frames per second, the highest resolution is going to be in 60 frames per second. Whatever it is, 1080p or 720p, it is going to be in 60 frames per second, and there's nothing you can really do to change that. The only thing I could do to change that would be uploading videos in 30 FPS. You will notice that Dear Nero is uploaded in 30 FPS, but the reason for that being is when you're rendering out videos, and in terms of the file size of the videos, the video size is about cut in half when you put it at 30 FPS. Like if you take something that's 30 FPS and make it 60 frames per second, like you take a 60 frame per second video, that's over twice the video size of something that would have been rendered out in maybe 30 FPS. So for Dear Nero, it's usually like roughly a 30-minute video, give or take. I usually do that in 30 FPS because a 60 frames per second, 30-minute long video, good God, the time it would take to render it is absurd, and the time that it would take to upload it is even more absurd, especially on my upload speed. And some people are like, "Oh, Nero, I have a worse upload than you." I have a 3 upload, like 3 megabits per second. I have that 3 megabits per second upload speed. And some people say, "Well, I have worse than that, Nero. Why are you complaining?" This is my job. My job is to upload videos, and the fact that, like Dear Nero takes like 2.5 to 3 hours to upload is kind of absurd. That basically makes it so your internet's kind of useless. Like if you want to do anything online, like you want to play online games, you want to watch like an episode of a TV show or something like that online, you want to watch a live stream, anything, it cuts my upload speed down to nothing while I'm uploading, and it takes forever to upload. That's something that really kind of affects me. So I mean, if you are out there and you have a worse upload speed than like a 3, then I'm sorry to hear that, but at the same time, you're not using your upload speed like I am, so it's kind of a big deal for me, and I have the best possible internet where I can get it. I've got 30 download and 3 up. That is the best possible package around here, which is sad. You hear people in Kansas City that have 100 down, 100 up. It's like, oh my God, that'd be so great. But I just can't get it. Just can't get it. It's just not my area. But yeah, I'm sorry to say, Zach, the only real option you have is to watch it 480p until, and hopefully this would be a good idea, YouTube should actually implement something. If the video is uploaded at 60 frames per second, wouldn't it be kind of simple to be able to make it so you can choose to watch it in 30 FPS? Or maybe that's not possible because the source video is 60. I don't know how that would work. But then again, all throughout YouTube's past, it was always 30 FPS. Even if you upload the video in 60 FPS, it would automatically scale it down to 30 FPS. So if that technology is already there, like that infrastructure is already there, why wouldn't they do that? That seems like something they could do, give an option for 30 FPS or 60 FPS, depending on the video. So next question, he writes, Dear Nero, what is your gamer score, and do you think it is a way of showing your skill at video games? Keep up the great work, Tim from Indiana. So Tim, I pay very little attention to my gamer score. I used to kind of care about it a bit. I would, in my younger years on Xbox Live, I would look at a game and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try and get these achievements. And I have completed like, I guess you would call it maxing out a game, getting all the possible gamer score. And I've only done that on a handful of games, but I had to actually look it up because once again, I don't pay too much attention to it. My gamer score is 28,710 is my gamer score. And the games I've maxed out are basically the Call of Duty games. Like I try to get. There's certain games like I try to get like all the gamer score on. Like I tried to get a lot of the gamer score for Borderlands 2, but there are just so many freaking achievements in that game. It's like, good God, this is going to take forever, and I'm kind of over it. That kind of thing. But there are a couple games I've maxed out. I maxed out Modern Warfare 2, which I think that was the first game I ever got 100% on. No. COD 4. Call of Duty 4 was the first game I ever did 100% on. Where basically involves getting the 10th prestige, doing stuff like that. I think there was an achievement in that game for that. I may be wrong. I may be thinking of World at War. But beating the campaign on veteran, and doing some special challenges like blowing up all the TVs on a certain level, and no fighting in the war room. That was an especially hard mission. I remember doing that specifically. And there's one that was really hard. The achievement, I think it was called Mile High Club. Mile High Club was amazingly hard. It was one of those ones where you're like, yes, I'm one of the select few people in the world to actually have this. I remember seeing a statistic somewhere. I can't remember, but like a very, very, very small number of people that have played Call of Duty 4 have actually gotten that achievement. It is ridiculously hard to get the Mile High Club achievement. So that's pretty cool that I was able to do that. After that, I did Modern Warfare 2. Beat the whole campaign, beat it on veteran mode, beat it... basically just beat everything there is to beat in that game, Spec Ops, all that kind of crazy stuff. Beat on the highest possible difficulty. I also did World at War. Basically, only the Call of Duty games, the only games I've ever maxed out. Like, oh, and Madden, I've maxed out a couple Madden games as well. All the other games, I just don't really have the drive to do it. But some games like, Call of Duty 4 and World at War and Modern Warfare 2, these are games I loved so much back in the day, and I played so much. I'm like, I played this game so much, I'm going to go ahead and get all the achievements for it. That just seems like a fitting thing to do. And I remember in World at War, they had 1,500 gamer score, where usually it's 1,000 gamer score. It was actually 1,500 for that game because all the DLC, like every DLC that came out, had a new zombie map, and those zombie maps all had their own individual achievements. I remember doing all the achievements on there. And of course, World at War on Veteran, good God, if any of you have beaten World at War on Veteran, oh my God, it is... Oh, that game is so frustrating. Like, picture your standard Veteran Call of Duty. All right, picture that. It's kind of hard. You kind of have to go cover to cover. You gotta play slow. You gotta play defensive. You gotta go head poke to head poke, pick off all the people, advance forward, keep on going. You can't do that in World at War. You just can't, because if you stand still for more than 2 seconds, there will literally be 4 grenades at your feet. Like, the freaking Germans. I don't know how the Germans didn't win World War II with the amount of grenades that they have. It is absurd how many grenades those people had in that game. The Japanese, too. You think the Axis would just freaking destroy the Allies in World War II with the sheer amount of firepower those guys had with all their grenades, but man, it was absurd. But I did end up beating it finally, and that was pretty cool. But I don't think necessarily that it shows your skill at video games. I think it more or less shows that you really care about that video game, or you just enjoy going for achievements. Now, certain ones like the Mile High Club is considered by anyone that's aware of that achievement to be a very hard achievement to get, and it's kind of like an elite group of people that have actually been able to get that achievement, because Mile High Club was actually a very, very hard thing. That thing, I would say it gives you a little bit of skill. Like, it kind of shows off a little bit of skill, like you were good enough to actually be able to do that. It was a very hard achievement to get. But you look at other stuff, like other games that have achievements. Like one that comes to mind specifically is Madden 2006. Let me tell you about Madden 2006. If you want a quick 1,000 gamer score, go play Madden 2006, man. That game, I think you get a 100 gamer score for scoring a touchdown. I think you get another 100 gamer score for scoring a first down. I think you get 400 gamer score if you throw for like 300 yards in a game or something stupid like that. I know you get like freaking like 400 gamer score or something like that if you complete 30 years in franchise mode, which all you gotta do to do that is simulate. All you gotta do is simulate 30 seasons. That takes you maybe 10 minutes. You don't even have to play the game. You know, that game is so stupidly easy to get achievements on. So it doesn't necessarily show skill. It just kind of shows that you're interested in that game. You took the time, in Call of Duty 4, going back to that, you took the time to go and shoot up all 50 TVs on a certain level or something like that. It just kind of shows that you like playing a video game. If you beat on Veteran, I suppose that's a little bit of skill, that you had the patience to beat a game on Veteran or beat on the hardest difficulty. I guess that does show skill depending on the video game. Mainly talk about Call of Duty here, but other video games, yeah, certainly I would say beating games on the highest difficulty does show a bit of skill, does show a bit of patience and a deeper understanding of the game than your standard player probably would have. So I guess I'm coming around. I would say depending on the game, it can mean skill, but it really kind of depends on the game in question. Beating Call of Duty on Veteran, I don't think it necessarily means skill. It just means you slowly progress throughout the thing. Whereas beating something like, God, I don't know, Bioshock or so, like Bioshock Infinite, I guess that's the newest one. Beating that, probably on the hardest difficulty, that's something crazy. That's something you took a lot of time to do, and you probably understand that game on such a ridiculous level that you were able to do that. So I don't know. I'm coming around. I would say it does mean skill, but it really depends on the game. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, if you could come up with your own variation for your favorite weapon in Advanced Warfare, which weapon would you choose and what would you call it? Keep up the amazing videos, Evan from Massachusetts. So Evan, after a lot of delegation and thought that went into this, I figured out which gun I would want to have my own variant of, and I know what I would name it. So the gun I would change, the gun I would have a variant of, would be the HBR A3, because I think that's my favorite rifle in the game. The name of this variant would be the Fuck You, You Ball-Using Pansy. So it's going to be the HBR. Fuck You, You Ball-Using Pansy. And what happens is it's just a normal HBR. It's just normal HBR when you're shooting at people. But if you're shooting at somebody who is using the Ball 27, you get plus 100 to damage, plus 50 to fire rate, and you get an extra 100 rounds into your magazine. That is my gun. That is my variant. The Fuck You, You Ball-Using Pansy. God, I hate them, man. I was trying to play some Advanced Warfare tonight. So freaking not fun, man. The ball seriously ruins it. Like, everyone's running around with it. It melts you. It's absurd. Next question. He writes, Dear Nero, what is your opinion on these shotguns in Advanced Warfare? I think that they are not very good, and there should be at least 1 or 2 more of them. I'd like to know what you think about them. Thanks for your time. Logan from Illinois. So Logan, I would say the shotguns in Advanced Warfare, honestly, they're pretty bad. Even if you think of like the pump action, you think of the TAC-19, the big pump action shotgun. It's a pump action. It should be a one-hit kill, a pretty reliable one. No, man, that thing is the most inconsistent shotgun I've used in all my years. And I'm telling you, I used the trench gun in World at War, and this thing draws comparisons in my mind, all things considered. So I think the shotguns in Advanced Warfare are very weak, along right there with the submachine guns. They definitely need a buff with the coming update. Hopefully that'll end up happening. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, I realize that 2014 has been a rough year for popular and hyped games because of major problems, such as broken or buggy launches. This makes me worried about next year's games. Do you think that future games will have the same issues and this will overall decrease the popularity of these games? If this does happen, do you think the indie games will become massively popular in the near future? Brandon from Virginia. So, Brandon, you have been right. You think of just about every single multiplayer-based release that has come out recently, they've all been really, really buggy. They've all been pretty broken, or they didn't live up to the hype. He actually mentioned in the message they didn't live up to their hype, kind of like Titanfall did. A lot of these games did that. So, for me, the two biggest letdowns I've played recently, of course, was Titanfall, which I guess that isn't really so recent, but still, I think that sticks out in my mind. Titanfall was one of those big letdown games, and Borderlands, a pre-sequel, I thought was a pretty big letdown. There's no end game to that game whatsoever, and it's really disappointing. Aside from that, you look at the launches of many, many, many games. You look at the Assassin's Creed launch, or the Halo launch, or the Warlords of Draenor launch, and I didn't play. I thought I heard something about Destiny's launch being buggy. Was that, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember. It could have been fine, it could have been awful. I honestly cannot remember. I remember hearing in my mind, for some reason, I have something about Destiny in there. But yeah, there has been a bunch of launches that have been bad. They have just been awful. You look at Advanced Warfare's launch. That thing is, oh god, the game should never have been released in the state it's in, with all the bugs and all the glitches. Oh man, Advanced Warfare should never have been released in the state that it's in right now. And that's happening to a lot of games. A lot of games are coming out with tons of bugs, tons of issues, just bad launches, laggy launches. Sometimes just stuff doesn't work, that kind of thing. I do think this does have a negative effect on the popularity of the games. I would say that a lot of people, they look at these games and are like, wow, this is completely broken. You look at people that, Halo, let's face it out there, everyone, even if you're a big Halo fan, let's face it, Halo is not as popular as it once was. Back before 2007, before Call of Duty 4 came out, Halo was the bee's knees. That was the big game. Then after Call of Duty 4 came out, it really took all the air out of the room in the gaming industry for a little bit, and Halo never really recovered. It never got back to where it was back during Halo 2 and Halo 3. And for them to make a new game, this Master Chief Collection, bring out this new thing, bring back all the old games, remaster them, how awesome that would be, and how much we want that. Even if you're a Call of Duty fan, we want that, right? Bring back Call of Duty 4, bring back World of War, remaster them on next gen. How cool would that be, How awesome that is, and then to have just one of the worst launches in recent gaming history. Anyway, that really hurt the game. That really hurt the popularity of the game. A lot of people, they got the game, and they realized how buggy it was and how awful it was. I think that really kind of put a sour taste in their mouth. Whether or not that will negatively affect them and their opinions on the games overall, like I'm sure those people still love Halo, but it really puts a sour taste in your mouth when the game that you love so much just does not work when you get it. I can definitely understand that. You look at Advanced Warfare, for example, it's like, good God. Why is everything broken in this game? But you look at it does put a sour taste in your mouth. I suppose overall it's not going to have too much of a negative thing because we already enjoy the games. If it's a brand new game, like something that's not part of a series, like you look at Halo and Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed, those are all part of established series, and the fans of those games are already going to be fans of those games, regardless of the horrible launch that Advanced Warfare had, this stuff's going to get fixed and people are going to be able to enjoy Advanced Warfare, and they're still going to be just as excited for the new Treyarch game when that comes out next year. I don't think they're going to be thinking next year, oh god, what if this Treyarch game's going to be so awful? I don't think I'm going to buy the Treyarch game because Advanced Warfare had a buggy launch. I don't think that's going to happen, and I don't think that's going to happen for the new Assassin's Creed game. I don't think it's going to happen for Halo 5 whenever that decides to drop, right? I don't think that's going to happen. They may talk about it. There may be discussion about like, oh man, I hope the launch isn't that bad, but I don't think it's actually going to detract any sales. I think people that are already fans of these franchises are pretty much lifetime fans of these franchises, especially you look at the Halos and the Assassin's Creeds and the Call of Duties that have had just multiple iterations of the game put out year after year after year. Especially Assassin's Creed and Call of Duty, I suppose. Halo's not a year after year after year game, but you get my point, right? People are already fans of these series. But if it's a brand new game, if it's a brand new IP, it's something that people have not yet played, like Titanfall, and it has a bad launch. It's really buggy. A lot of things are broken, or maybe if it just doesn't live up to the hype, like Titanfall did. Like it just did not live up to the hype because it just didn't have enough content within the game. I think that puts a real sour taste in people's mouth, and that may or may not turn people off the franchise as a whole. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that when they first started playing Titanfall, they gave it its fair shot. They tried out Titanfall, but then when they realized, like, oh, well, this isn't everything I kind of hoped it would be, that might just turn them off the series forever, because that was the first iteration of that game. That was the very first time that game has ever come out. And usually people look back at the first game or the first few games of a series and say, that was the pinnacle. That was the highlight of the series. I think if Titanfall does become a franchise, there's a Titanfall 2, a Titanfall 3, I don't think people are going to look back at the original Titanfall as, like, the gem of the series, just because of how lackluster it really was. So, I don't know. I guess to answer your question, I don't think buggy launches or broken launches actually decrease the popularity of games. I don't think that indie games, as a result of that, are going to become massively popular. Certainly, indie games can become popular, but I don't think they're going to become more popular just because AAA games like big titles and stuff like that have broken and buggy launches. Because do you think an indie developer can handle a launch the size of a AAA launch? I don't think that would ever happen, because to have a launch the size of like a Call of Duty, or the size of an Assassin's Creed, or Warlords of Draenor, or a Titanfall, or a Destiny, or whatever, it would be pretty freaking hard for an indie developer to be able to handle that much people trying to play their game at once if it's an online game, So, by all means, play indie games. If you like indie games, if you're a fan of independent game developers, that's awesome, that's great, but I don't think there's ever a time where they're going to become massively popular, because at that point, are they really indie? I guess they would be. Like Minecraft, I guess technically is an indie game. Maybe not anymore since Microsoft bought them. I don't know. That's a tough question. I don't think indie games are ever going to become massively popular because of broken or buggy launches of big AAA titles, so to answer your question. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, are you going to play Tales from the Borderlands? It's a story after the events of Borderlands 2, and it's made by Telltale Games and 2K, from Killakip. So Killakip, I did actually play Tales from the Borderlands. I was excited for that. I played through the entire thing. I was going to post it over on Nero's Let's Plays. And how I thought I would do it, because this is something I do as a viewer, I like it when everything is one long video. Like when we're watching, I don't know, like you watch podcasts or you watch like Let's Plays and stuff. Like I especially like the long episodes because I just kind of put them on my second monitor while I'm doing my work or while I'm playing a game or doing whatever, and I listen to it and I watch the video or the podcast or whatever, and I can just watch it and listen to it all in one video without having to click video to video to video to video to actually keep up with it, right? And Tales from the Borderlands, and it's an episodic Telltale game. What I wanted to do with it was I'm like, all right, so I have about 2 hours worth of footage roughly here of this game. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it all into one video so people can watch this, no breaking this up into 10 different episodes or anything like that. I'm just going to put all of episode 1 into one video and people can watch it, right? And the problem with that is, I talked about it earlier, is it takes a very long time to render out that kind of a video, and it takes way long to upload that kind of a video. Once the render was done, it was an 8.60 something gigabyte file, which is freaking giant. All right, so the only way to do this, and only so I can actually continue to use my PC for other things like play games, record stuff, make videos, stuff like that. What I wanted to do was I took the video file and I rendered it out overnight one night, and then the next day I decided to upload it overnight as enlisted, and I was going to make it public. Well, I did that. It took 2 days to be able to render this thing and upload it, and by the time it was uploaded, there was a copyrighted song in the intro. Of all freaking things, man. There was a copyrighted song in the intro of the game. I had to go and re-edit it, which didn't take very long. I just went and basically muted the audio for the intro part. And now I have to re-render it, and now I have to re-upload it, which, keep in mind, 8.6 gigabyte video file. It is freaking giant. So it's going to be a few days before that goes up in Nero's Let's Plays. It was supposed to go up, in fact, yesterday. But I can't. I just couldn't. I can't have copyrighted music and stuff like that on my channel, of course. A partner channel. So I had to take it down, and I had to go, and now I have to re-render it over. I'm probably gonna re-render it probably tonight or tomorrow night, and then upload it tonight or tomorrow night, and then it should be up hopefully before Sunday. Good God, I don't know. Worst case scenario, I finally get this video uploaded again, and then you find out like some other random part of the game has copyrighted music in it, and at that point, I'll probably just give up because it's absurd. But it's a fun game. It's a fun game. If you're wondering about Tales from the Borderlands, it is a fun game. I would recommend it if you're a fan of the Borderlands games. It is definitely great. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, during your childhood, what was your favorite game console, Sega or Nintendo, or any other platform like Atari, Sony, etc., and why? What were your favorite games, and also what was your favorite childhood TV show? Keep up the great work and keep the videos coming. Owen from Northern Ireland. So Owen, I did never actually owned any Nintendo products outside of the handheld stuff. I owned a Game Boy Color growing up, then of course a Game Boy Advance, and then recently I bought a 3DS. I bought it with Pokemon X whenever that came out. And yeah, so I've never really owned many Nintendo things. I did have a Sega Genesis growing up. My favorite games to play on it growing up were there's this Royal Rumble game. There was Streets of Rage. I think we had Streets of Rage 2. I think was the game I had growing up. And that was a whole lot of fun. Whichever one had the kid on skates, like he was on rollerblades, that one was pretty cool. I think there's like a blonde guy named Axel that was in there. That was a lot of fun. My brother and I would play that together a lot. I'm trying to think of some of the games. I had Sonic and Knuckles. That was a lot of fun. Sonic and Knuckles was my first Sonic game and my only Sonic game. I don't think I had any of the others. But I guess those were mainly the main games I played on my Sega Genesis. And of course, on my Game Boy Color, I played the Pokemon games because those were awesome. My favorite childhood TV show is tough. Boy, that is tough. I liked just about everything that was on Nickelodeon growing up. Because you hear it a lot, like 90s Nickelodeon was great. It was. Some of the shows, there was the Rugrats, which I think was one of my favorite shows as I was younger. But I guess as you get a little bit older, like once you start getting like 7 or 8 or so, I think maybe a little bit older. Once you get probably 8, 9, or 10, I think at that point you start outgrowing the Rugrats a bit. But there was Rocko's Modern Life, there was the Angry Beavers, there was Kenan and Kel, that might have been early 2000s. There was All That, which was great. Oh man, all the just about everything that was on like 90s Nickelodeon to me was great. I loved it all. Cat Dog, when was that? I feel like Cat Dog was early 2000s. I could be wrong, but yeah, everything, man. 90s Nickelodeon basically was all my favorite stuff. I loved it. Great childhood watching all those great shows. Next and final question is actually going to be a lightning round. All of this was sent in by a guy named Anthony, and I've got 10 questions here, and he wants me to answer them in a rapid-fire pace. Lightning round, you guys have seen lightning rounds before, so this is going to be some cool stuff. First question, what is your favorite DLC map that's not a remake? I would say Grind. Definitely Grind from Black Ops 2. That was probably that might have been the best map in Black Ops 2. The best original map in Black Ops 2. That not counting Studio, the remake of Firing Range, and not counting Nuketown 2025, the remake of Nuketown. Atlas Gorge, yay or nay? I'm definitely going to say I have not played Atlas Gorge yet. None of my friends have the freaking season pass, so we don't have Atlas Gorge downloaded. Or I do, but they don't. And since I always play with my friends, I can never play Atlas Gorge. It sucks. Do you think the next Call of Duty will have supply drops? I hope. Supply drops are freaking awesome. Are camos too easy to get in Advanced Warfare? I'd say they're just about right. After the update, they're just about right. It's kind of hard, kind of not. I like it. Diamond camo, yay or nay? It looks okay. I haven't got it myself, but it looks okay. Call of Duty Ghost 2, yay or nay? Fuck no. Fuck Call of Duty Ghost. Fuck that entire... Oh, I hated it. Bad game. Oh, no. DNA bombs are also called Manticore. Ever thought about Manticore Mondays? No, because Manticore is a stupid freaking name and I wish people would stop suggesting it. Did you play the Advanced Warfare campaign? I have not yet actually played the Advanced Warfare campaign. It's one of those things I'm kind of saving it for a bit to kind of learn all about the lore of the game and whatnot. Best and worst Call of Duty campaign. I'd say the best Call of Duty campaign was World at Wars because it was set in World War II and I thought that was great. And I would say the worst one would be Call of Duty Ghosts because the ending to that oh my god, the ending. Like they couldn't even get that campaign right. Infinity Ward screwed up with that game so bad. Good God, the ending was so awful. It was an okay game. It was a standard Call of Duty game for a while there in terms of campaign. It was pretty good, right? Then the ending, it's like, good God, they ruined it. I fucking hate Infinity Ward. Should the Sticks and Stones game mode return? Sure, why not? A lot of people enjoy it. I personally don't play it a whole lot, but I don't hate it or love it. It's just why not? Bring it back. More game modes, the merrier. And those were your 10 questions. Those were sent in by a guy named Anthony. And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes this week's episode of Dear Nero. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. If you guys like to go ahead and send in your guys' questions for next week's episode of Dear Nero, all you need to do is send me a personal message here on YouTube. Now, you have to do this from your computer. Apparently, it doesn't work for mobile devices for one reason or another. but you go to my YouTube channel, you go to the About section, and from there you'll find the Send Message button. From there, type in Dear Nero, then followed up by your question. Be sure to prefix your message by saying Dear Nero at the beginning of it. That way, when I'm scrolling through my messages, I can easily find which ones were sent for Dear Nero. So that's how you send it. That is how you submit your questions for Dear Nero. And yeah, you guys may be featured on next week's episode if you have a pretty good question. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this week's episode of Dear Nero. And if you did, please be sure to leave a rating. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day.